Three, two, one. Well, good afternoon, Noah Battle. Welcome from Sproutbox Media. Really looking forward to learning about you and your agency. And at this moment, I'd love to hear about who you are and what you do at Sproutbox Media.
Well, thanks, Steve. I appreciate the introduction. I appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you for a few minutes. The Sproutbox Media is located in Portland, Oregon. That's where our headquarters is. We're an integrated digital marketing agency that's focused at looking at a variety of channels and bringing integration. We're focused on conversion optimization, building traffic that's targeted for our individual client business needs. We work with a variety of clients, really everything from startups, where we'll help them to just get off the ground, everything from their branding to the website development, helping them with focus groups as far as understanding their product and how it should be messaged, what kind of messaging should come along with their brand, how to get something that resonates within the marketplace, that kind of thing, all the way through a variety of small business industries we've targeted over the years, and larger businesses. We've worked with companies as large as Pepsi, as large as Mitel, et cetera. So,
Wow.
kind of a variety, but always through all of it, integration of services is really key for us, helping to come alongside of our clients and be somewhat business partners with them, not in the sense that we're taking equity or any such things, but we want to understand their business. So that's a little bit of a difference from traditional digital agencies. We actually want to understand the business, and as we learn their business, we actually are tailoring all of our solutions from a business perspective, right? Growth of their business is what we're all about. So branding, as I mentioned, web development, messaging, and then of course, all of the digital marketing channels and video. So video is also something that's not always integrated within the digital agency. Oftentimes that's something that's hired out or contracted out or some such, but is completely integrated within our services. So we're able to leverage it from a lot of different ways regarding messaging and even marketing both on social as well as within YouTube marketing, ranking videos and such. But all of that plays into the larger picture of what's going to be best for our client's business from a business perspective.
Excellent. That sounds really good. So when you talk about video, are you also creating video for your clients?
Yeah, great question. Yes, we do. We have all those capabilities in-house. We are able to, from start to finish, produce a video, right? So everything from meeting with a client, doing the initial discovery, understanding what kind of video. There are a number of different types of videos we may be doing, from customer interviews to testimonials to walking through the company, helping people to understand products and so forth, and positioning, all those kinds of things. But yes, we can script things out, we can shoot it all and produce it and get it launched.
Very good. Wow, that's impressive. So does Sproutbox Media have any interesting credentials? Do you have any do you have any speaking history with at certain events?
We've done some speaking. Yes, it's not our primary way of building business and getting out into the world, if you will. But we definitely have done that. More of that was done earlier in our business history, but some of it still continues. We've done industry events for financial services. We've done accounting services. We've done some technologies conventions, and we've done more work with local SEO kinds of meetings and events. Just talking about local SEO versus national SEO versus e-commerce SEO.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Well, here's where we move into the meaty part of the conversation, and what we're looking for is your perspective or your views on the future of SEO going into 2020.
Well, I guess there are a number of things that are going to be really very important. I believe that zero-click and voice search will profoundly disrupt the market. For those that have not prepared themselves for it, it will profoundly disrupt what is traditional SEO, because so much SEO is more than half of all searches are currently voice initiated, right? And more than half of searches in a zero-click result, which means that a featured snippet has been triggered. Google has a feature called featured snippets where they're trying to answer questions. Users are posing questions on the net. You know, how old is someone? How to meditate? What's a good recipe for apple pie, right? So they will post those kind of questions, and Google has evolved to the point where they're able to answer those questions above the normal search results. And so this is resulting in zero clicks. So if the user is actually getting the answer that they were looking for immediately presented to them in the search engine results, there's no need for them to go down further into the results and click on a web page. So that will be a very large disruptor within the marketplace, because most businesses, especially most small businesses and local businesses, we work a lot with local business. They are not prepared for feature snippets. They haven't optimized for that. That's not a play for them. And then the other side of that is the whole voice piece. And more than 50% of searches are now, for most industries at least, are now over their phones, along with being voice. So you have that kind of trifecta happening,
Right.
Mobile optimization and then this voice and feature snippet stuff. So as that all comes together, and it is coming together, we don't have to wait for 2020. It's actually coming together now. But over the next couple of years, that will profoundly change how search engine and SEO optimization works.
So what kind of advice would you give someone to prepare for the zero-click search results? What would you tell someone to do?
Well, there are a couple things. First of all, change the way that you are doing keyword research, or at least broaden it, expand it. Oftentimes, most businesses will look at bottom of the funnel kinds of search phrases that have a lot of buying intentionality behind them, and as they optimize for those, they're going to have a more and more limited result pattern. The feature snippets, as I kind of mentioned a little bit ago, is all about trying to answer questions, trying to read into the intention of the searcher and provide the answer as quickly and as seamlessly as possible from Google's perspective, giving that Google user a great experience, right? So they're getting answers quickly. So what you have to do is expand your keyword research into looking at more long tail searches, but looking at long tail searches that are structured in questions, right? So being able to answer questions as part of your research process, looking for what kinds of questions your intended buyer or user might be asking related to your industry, kind of abouts, kind of FAQ kind of things, about services, about comparisons of products, about comparisons of services, those kinds of things. And as you identify that kind of keywords, those kinds of keywords, then going back and optimizing, and there's some specific things that you do in the optimization for keyword, for feature snippets, going back in and optimizing for those snippets. So there are tools out there available. Ahrefs is one of them, and there are a variety of other ones that will help you in your keyword research to be able to identify what keywords will actually produce a snippet, and then once you've understood what those keywords are, there are a variety of different types of snippets. Go back to your website, do the on-page technical SEO to make sure that you've positioned yourself well for those results. The majority of the feature snippets are coming from Google's first page results. So that also means you must be on the first page of Google for whatever phrases you've gone after to have a real strong chance of actually ending up as a feature snippet. Carrying that on a little bit further, you have to do mobile optimization. And for the speed, of course, that's become standardized. For the UX, of course, but also making sure that feature snippets are going to look proper on the mobile device. That's going to be helpful, along with the speed and the UX.
How do you ensure your featured snippet looks proper on mobile?
Test, lots of testing. That's one of the bedrocks of marketing in general, and certainly web development in particular as it relates to SEO. So it's kind of gone by the days of not really paying a lot of attention to how something looks on the mobile device. Again, because the majority of searches have gone or will go to mobile. We optimize for mobile first. Versus a few years back where we would optimize for desktop first. Right now we optimize for mobile first. So it has to look good through all the testing patterns that you would go through, all the various device types that you would look at. It has to operate properly there. That's even more important in our eyes than how it operates on the desktop.
Right on. So does that mean you're using more structured data, like rich or schema
Yes.
markup?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're using schema markup everywhere that we can.
Gotcha. And how do you do it the hard way, or do you use the Gutenberg editor blocks that format it for you?
We've done it both ways. We actually there are a couple of tools that will automatically generate the schema data for you, and we tend to utilize those tools. But different people do it slightly different, and it kind of also depends on the size of the project. For smaller, quick things, we might just do it in line within the code. But other times we'll use the generator.
Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue into what tools. What are the tools you're using on your day-to-day journey?
Can you pause for just 1 second?
Go ahead.
Probably some of the same tools that most agencies use. I mentioned Ahrefs. That's very, very common for us. We use Longtail Pro for some of that long tail keyword research that I mentioned.
Yep.
We'll use Majestic. So Majestic is not a tool that everyone uses, but it's definitely a tool that we've found to be very, 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 very helpful in helping us to identify industries. So when we're looking at links and when we're looking at things of that nature, understanding when we want to get a link from a guest post or some other kind of link source, understanding how they're looked at online as far as their particular industry, and
right.
That's more and more of a big lift in rankings is relevancy. So relevance to the industry. So getting links not just because they're high powered, if you're looking at Moz or some other or even Ahrefs of the power of the link, but also looking at the relevancy of the link. And so we get that kind of information from Majestic.
Sure. So just to take just to stay on topic again, so talking about schema markup,
Mm-hmm.
What tool would you use to create that code? Is there a tool that helps you structure it properly?
Sure. So the JSON generator is a good good tool that we can use. That's at jsonld.com. They have a schema generator there, and that's been very helpful. It's pretty easy to use.
Well, that's awesome. That is the first time I've heard that in all these interviews. It's good, get good info.
Sure.
Great. And so, any other interesting tools you're using?
I mentioned Longtail Pro. I think that a lot of businesses don't utilize that, and it's useful for helping to understand not only generating tons and tons of keywords, and such, but you're also able to get competitive data. So here's what I mean. So it's one thing to have a keyword. When you're doing the keyword research, it's important to make sure that you've already understood the business goals. You already understand what they're trying to accomplish. As I mentioned, we want to partner with the business. So selecting keywords that are very, very relevant somewhere in the funnel, and that's part of your strategic plan. Are you going to target top of the funnel, mid or lower? And there are implications for all of that. But if we just take the example of lower in the funnel, something that has very high buyer intention, if you plug that into a Longtail Pro and generate a massive list of keywords that are in that level, that's one thing, and that's where a lot of SEOs will go, and then they'll start looking at the amount of traffic for those particular keywords. And a lot of folks will actually stop right there. We have some good keywords that look good and they have good search volume. It's important to actually take that a step further and then look at the competitiveness of those keywords. So a good keyword, great searches, but can you rank for it within a reasonable amount of time? Are you able to rank for it within 3 to 6 months, right? So some of those kind of keywords, especially when you're looking at blog articles or pages within sub-pages within your site, you really want to be able to focus in on keywords that actually have rankability, short-term rankability. And this is where Longtail Pro is very helpful, where it will give you the competitiveness of a particular keyword, and you're able to do it based off of the authority of your website. So you are able to plug in your website. We want to rank for these particular keywords for this particular website. It will look at the authority of the website and then look at the competitiveness of the keywords, and it'll give you a report back on these particular keywords can probably rank pretty quickly for this particular website. That's very huge. You whittle down your long list into a much more manageable list, and now you can go in and look at those individually. Look at that particular keyword, what search engine results does it produce? Let me look at the results and see if how competitive they really are. So Longtail Pro gives you does a lot of the work for you, but you still need to manually look at those keywords and just verify everything, because the tool is not perfect.
Sure.
But that brings you a long ways toward now being able to select a list that's highly relevant, that has good search volume, and you can actually rank them within a reasonable amount of time. And that's golden for our clients.
Gotcha. Well, that's excellent. Well, Noah, that is again some great information, particularly that little nugget on the schema markup tool. That's new information for the audience. So thank you very much for spending this time with us. I'm going to stop the recording.